Hi, everyone. Welcome to this last day of Web Summit. And to the few of you in the audience who braved this rain, I appreciate you. Nice to see everyone here today. As she mentioned, I am here to talk about a few things which are not yet on screen. We're going to try. Okay, give me a second. There we go. Okay. There is a word that we all know. Most of us in the audience are highly aware of the word return on investment. Quickly, since we're a small audience, how many of you here are marketers? Can I get a raise of hands? There we go. Awesome. So for every marketer, return on investment becomes an important topic, particularly to justify your ad spend to your board, to your CFO, to your investors, etc. And you've lived in a black box for a very long time, the auction system that many social media companies have, or the system that search companies have. And guess what? You have another black box coming at you pretty quickly, agentic AI-based advertising systems. So what are we, as an industry, going to do in that case? Are you going to explain to your CFO or your investor that the algorithm had a mood? That's not going to work. So I'm here today to talk to you about reframing ROI. We're not going to change any metrics. We're just going to rethink our assumptions and think about it as return on trust. So think back to your first time deep diving Meta's black box auction system. It was a crazy time when people tried to understand it. I know because I worked there for 11 years. And now you're facing a system where AI and agents will literally plan for you, buy for you, compare things for you. And who is going to be the biggest influencer in that reality? Is it the marketer, the consumer, the platform? We believe that in this new reality, there is one anchor that can hold it all together, and that is trust. Which is why I'm here talking about it today. Because the reality is, users will only allow agents to act in environments and on platforms that they believe in. Marketers, which is many of you in the audience, will only invest in data that you can verify. And platforms will only scale if people can trust how they work. In this next era, trust does become an important performance variable. So it's not just a principle. Confusion costs money. But when you have clarity, it builds confidence, which is why we're talking about trust. Trust is clarity at scale. Take a second. What do you think is another word for confidence? When you go discuss your budgets with different people, CEOs, your manager, your board, your investors, how do you feel confident in that moment? And why does it matter? Because when you're confident, it drives conversion. Confidence drives retention. Confidence is money. Confidence is growth. I think we can all agree on all of these topics. So what then is actually trust at scale? And how do you connect it to confidence? I want to talk about this new era of advertising that I introduced, the black box that I'm talking about. I'm sure you're a little tired hearing about AI and we don't know what's coming at us. And I'm really happy to hear that many of you are dabbling with it. But the biggest thing is building confidence or rebuilding it with your consumers in this new world. And that is trust at scale. Before we go there, though, before we get super practical, let's quickly remind ourselves of the historical context. Okay, we all know this era, or at least some of us know this era of search. Then came social, along with mobile and cloud. The internet and its economy flipped each time. Here we are in the agentic advertising AI era. How do we bring in trust? How do we make it practical? Cookies are disappearing. Attention is splintering across platforms. Generations are changing. Users, it's no longer going to be about how users view or scroll. Every funnel, marketing funnel as we know it, is collapsing. It is collapsing, partly because of generational behaviors, partly because of the use of AI. It's collapsing the funnel from 10 clicks to 1 action. So for years, we as marketers have optimized for efficiency. We got really good at it also. But at some point, that efficiency does not scale, especially when there's a huge momentum shift. That next decade is here, and it's fairly disruptive. It's going to require a lot of rebuilding. The old question everybody asked was, who reached the most people? But tomorrow's question will be, who reached people who believed what they saw? Let's talk numbers. We all love some numbers. Deloitte and IAS found that ads placed in trusted environments drove 30% higher attention, and 20% stronger brand recall. These are important double-digit numbers. They don't lie. Some of our own Mozilla Ads pilots show the same pattern. When users feel safe, respected, engagement quality rises, and conversion consistency goes up. That's what we mean by return on trust. Because that trust is going to convert into returns much faster. It will retain longer. This is the most important part. It is a long-term play. It will compound in effect and cost less over time. And the marketers who understand this are already treating trust as a growth lever. You could spend a fortune optimizing your machine learning algorithm, which we already have. So much of that is going to change now. Where does that leave us? The best lever you have is building deep trust with your consumer on a high-quality platform, and that will compound and remain for much longer, no matter the shift in the back end. Let's make it super practical, not to be dramatic. Like I said before, you don't need another metrics dashboard or to completely rethink something new. You might have to tweak a few things in the agentic world, but to measure trust, you don't need a new dashboard. You already have the signals. We just need to reframe our thinking, get it out of plain sight, and talk about it differently. First, the attention signal. Many of us track various things. It might be, for some of us, dwell time, viewability, completion rates, just you name it. Different platforms, different marketers track different things. But ask yourself this: do your most viewable placements actually hold attention? Lumen research found that attention time increases by 25% when it is a trusted publisher environment. The next signal is the conversion signal. Many of us are already watching CPA, conversion rate, CPM, time to purchase, you name it. But the real question is, are your lowest CPAs or CPMs happening in the most trusted inventory or just the cheapest placements? Because high-quality engagement on a trusted platform is a win, both on the spreadsheet and when it comes to retaining your consumer longer. It's a win for your brand. The third signal is the retention signal. You already look at lifetime value, CAC, repeat purchases, all of these signals. I would love for us to start thinking about, do customers in trusted environments stick around longer? More stats. BCG found that high-trust companies outperform their peers in revenue growth by 2 to 3x. This feels like common sense. And trust, of course, matters in brand health metrics as well. When we talk to a lot of advertisers out there, we keep hearing that brand safety and brand quality still matters. We haven't forgotten it. Which means trust at acquisition doesn't just help your ad metrics, it compounds across the customer lifecycle. For 15 years, maybe more, we have spent time chasing the cheapest attention, optimizing campaign life cycles a certain way. But attention without trust is just bounce. And it is going to get worse in an agentic AI world. Think about return on trust. It does convert faster, it retains longer, it costs less. But I'm wondering if many of you know about Mozilla ads. You're probably wondering, why is Mozilla best known for Firefox, the browser, and open source plays, here talking about ads? We have always built for people first. We have always believed in the cause of an open and healthy internet. But that doesn't happen by just talking as a matter of principle. That happens by building proof points and working with the industry to make this reality possible. That means fixing not just the technology, but the business model behind it. And I would love for everybody to be in it together. It's that same design philosophy that Mozilla has always had that we are bringing to advertising. It boils down to performance because of trust, not despite it. That's an important differentiator. We started by partnering with Index Exchange, a programmatic provider, and we made Firefox inventory programmatically available and accessible for the first time, so brands can buy through familiar pipes in a trusted environment. But we are super excited this week to announce our partnership with Equative, a French-born company, because we're expanding our ads model with Equative. And we've been very happy in working with Equative. They bring such a grounded and thoughtful and deeply technical approach. Because together, Equative and Mozilla believe trustful performance can actually win. I'm going to repeat this because I think it's important. But scale without trust is risk. Trust without scale is a slogan, and together, they're performance. Okay? Next, let's look at this equation together. I'm going to actually pause, see a few people taking pictures. But this is it. This is what I said earlier. This equation is how I want us to all reframe our thinking. And I put it all together in this trust triangle. This trust triangle, by the way, does matter no matter the era. Search, social, mobile, AI, does not matter. You want trusted and trustworthy connections between brands, the human being, and leveraging a high-quality premium platform. That three-way connection of trust retains customers longer, gives you the confidence you need, and lets you spend your budgets wisely. I've mentioned some of these concepts before. I wanted to dive a little bit into it. AI is reshaping everything we're doing. I'm sure we're all on various tools, but discovery, decision-making, even actions. Agents are going to be the ones that'll plan for you, compare for you, buy for you, transact on your behalf. And the ad unit itself is going to evolve because the way we interface with the web is changing. It's going to become about book with X or try Y, clearly executed by the agent. So influence is becoming automated. Will you as a consumer work with any agent? Will you as a marketer trust any agent? Or will you delegate it only to systems that you trust? It's funny, as I was walking into this stage, I chatted with the lady who was bringing me here, and I asked her, do you trust ads? And I'm going to guess she was Gen Z or late millennial, and she said, sometimes. That's the trust deficit world we live in. As a consumer, a young consumer, she said, only sometimes. That's the important takeaway. We're barreling towards a different deficit that's going to be increasingly appended by more mistrust. And only some brands are going to learn how to earn trust. So there are three critical actions I believe we must take. As a marketer, let's audit for credibility signals, not just efficiency signals. We need to ask harder questions about where our impressions are run and how the data is used. I'm sure many of you have been invited to many parties here at Web Summit, many dinners, but it's like showing up to the right dinner party. That credibility is contagious. Second, invest where the environment itself is trusted, because where your brand shows up is part of your creative strategy. And context does not matter unless trust is implied by the environment. When context meets trusted environments, that's when magic happens for brands. Putting it all together, third, treat trust as a compounding asset. It's not just a campaign outcome. It cannot be about that week, month, or quarter. Because remember, newer generations are taking much longer to engage with brands and make purchases. When people trust the environment, they make a conscious choice. Some of that trust, much of that trust transfers to you as a brand. That's what the trust premium at work looks like. I want to bring this all together in one slide. Many people, including the lady I mentioned, may hate advertising. I actually love advertising. I love a great, well-timed, highly relevant ad. What I hate is getting bombarded by ads, though, that I don't care for or that just feel creepy. Or that my family knows what I'm buying for them as a birthday gift before they even know what they want. That's just not cool. So users are more likely to trust their data and their engagement with platforms that they trust. And especially in this environment we just talked about for the last 15 minutes, that is going to be the critical difference in the future. Because they need to trust the agent, they need to trust the surface, they need to trust the brand. And users are being influenced by other humans around them. In this world, the many marketers in the room, of you, the ones who move first will set the performance curve that everybody else has to chase. So, if you are building that next chapter of high-performing, human-centric advertising, come build with us. Come talk to us. Let's change this future together like Mozilla always has. Thank you.